I guess the title is self-explanatory. So let's. This is a kind of appetizer. So I'll just quote an extract. Okay, is the plural of paradox paradise? Is the latter related to pair of dice? Themes which you deeply analyze, meaning's emergence in the quest of finding man's essence and making sense of our attempts at making sense of all enveloping phenomena, seeing the ordinary, the phenomenal, and finding patterns within the phenomenal by comparing them with the general, distillation of the invariant essence from the dynamical stream of life, the order lurking in the chaotic strife. So I'll jump to the end of the poem. The emergence of philosophy, goal of self-realization, beyond knowledge as a trophy. Socrates, Buddha, Patanjali, Christ, Muhammad, Mahavira, Chaitanya, Jnaneshwar, and countless others. These are the saints and avatars. Aristotle, Plato, Aryabhatta, Bhaskara, Galileo, Newton, and countless others. These are the scientists. Rumi, the Emirates, saints of the Chishti order, and countless others. These are again the saints. Nietzsche, Bergson, Wilde, and others. These are the philosophers. But going beyond understanding the self, but making sense of the attempts to understand the self. The journey becomes the destination, and the destination becomes the journey. So, having psyched ourselves up, uh, this is a kind of framework for informal framework of consciousness, cognitive science, and things like that. So this is this these are the inputs. I mean, like this is genetics, this is cell and molecular biology, this is biophysics, this is metabolic pathways. I mean, so you study the metabolic pathways, the gene regulatory pathways, the signal transduction pathways, the protein interaction pathways. All these pathways and cells, all these go on to form cells, tissues, organs, and other physiological systems. And then here we have the various sense organs: vision, uh, touch, and smell, hearing, uh, things like that. And then you have locomotion. So this constitutes the nervous system. Now, throughout all these, and even later, uh, you have some themes which run across all these, which are kind of the foundations. One is like dynamical systems, complex systems, nonlinear systems, data mining, computational techniques, visualization techniques, and so all these form. Okay, all these are also used to create or to usher in the paradigm of systems biology, which is actually a kind of foundation. So now, before we go any further, let's look at systems biology. So here, similar to the slide we saw previously, uh, how we have conceptualized this. I mean, you have data coming in like sequence analysis, gene expression experiments, protein expression experiments. Then you have HTS assays, then X-rays to find structure with NMR, structure studies, then cell assays to find out spatial interaction. So these are the sources of data, and then you have the various workflows or processes within each data, which is each kind of input stream. Sequence assembly, multiple sequence alignment, gene prediction. This is for sequences. Structure prediction from sequence, homology, motif analysis. And here we have image analysis, pre-processing, differential analysis, analysis of differentially expressed genes, experiment clustering, gene clustering. Okay. So similarly, you have for protein also. So for HTS assays, you have QSAR models. Then quantitative structure activity related. So you have intermediate tasks. Okay. These are finding out like core-regulated genes, things like that. I have chosen to focus on one higher level task is lead optimization. See, these are the kind of reconstructing networks. from the expression data. This is one of the main, themes of systems biology. You infer the topology, then you infer the parameters, and then you do simulation. That's a split, and then predict basically interventions, things like that, effects of information. So this is lead optimization. So that this actually is a feedback process. So in the sense that uh, you create QSAR models. From there is first of all a pharmacokinetic aspect to show from the experiment. You decide, like you have how much is absorbed in each tissue and things like that. So and then you find out pharmacodynamics, in the sense how much dose response effect kind of thing. What does it actually affect? So one of those ways is gene expression and things like that. We can also look at toxicity. Through the same thing, whether the drug is toxic, admit analysis, and those kind of things. And this is an ongoing process, adaptive system. So, so then we come back to the mind. Okay. So, so we have seen that there's a nervous system, there's a brain. So here you have the things related to emergence of the eye. Okay. This is where you have the, and the same again, the common techniques are still there still. And here you have the eye emerging, sight, volition, agency, concept of agency, emergence of agency. Then we have I turns to we. You have a collective belief systems, you know, and formal and belief system, formal and informal belief systems at various levels, memes and stuff like that. Okay. So one important aspect is we have collective networks at two stages. One is formal, one is informal, and so we have the perceptual networks, which itself is an individual perceptual network, which itself is a jump from the sensations. It's a continuum, but you have perceptual networks, and then you have perceptual conceptual networks, which is needed because of the two-tier interaction. And this is a kind of how the various more details on how the various individuals and this kind of the through the interaction of the individual networks you have various common themes, winning ideas and stuff like that, stars. Okay. So we are seeing there is feeling, sensations, perceptions. So there is a continuum. So there is a two-way maps. Formalization of the sensations to perceptions to concepts, and the reverse direction. And the other one is other dimension is moving from the personal to the collective. Okay. So one could say that one could either move like this from individual to collective, or this way from top to bottom, that is perceptions to formalization, or reverse. So if we go either we go this way or we go this way, it should commute. It should be the same. I mean, oh, that's the idea. That's mathematically called commuting. So it cannot exactly work like that, but the idea is that to be coherent. So in a sense, each individual's network is lies in the collective, can be located in the collective network, which itself is a made up of which itself arises out of the interaction of the individual perceptual networks. Okay, so one can say that the individual perceptual network affects the overall network, which is a kind of envelope. Like a reference genome, and it's also affected by that. Simply, one could say that these are the ABCDs of consciousness, no? Analogies, beliefs, and conceptual or other perceptual conceptual differential equations. Okay, like you have solitons, and then they become like uh, solitons, and then they themselves form clusters and like granular media, and they become almost fluid-like and stuff like that. So we have seen that quantum mechanics shows particles have wave properties. So on the other hand, logic is also itself is being mathematized. Okay, so I'll end with another poem. Poetry is that which inspires poems. Poetry is that which inspires eloquence. Poetry is that which inspires silence. Thanks.